your hand, we can unmute. We can unmute people. Requesting you to please take a note of the same. We will start in another meeting. Another minute.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Um,
Yes, Priyanka. Priyanka, you're audible.
yes. Thank you. I'm Dr. Priyanka, and we have with us Dr. Pranita and Minwell. And we also have with us a number of sorry. We also have with us a number of incubators. So I'll be briefly start with the introduction with the incubator and why we are here today to discuss. The main agenda is to discuss about the biotechnology ignition grant. So I'll be discuss with that shortly. So just allow me a moment to share my screen. Oh, but how is my screen? How is my screen looking? No, I don't want to say this.
Priyanka, make it full screen mode, presentation mode.
This one, this one.
Priyanka, unshare the screen. Unshare the screen. And then again share the screen so it will happen. Uh, yes, Priyanka, it's good to go. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you can speak.
I can speak. Yeah? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Pranita. So we are all here today because the Biotechnology Ignition Grant has opened its call for 24th cycle. And SINE IITB is one of the BIG partner. And on behalf of SINE IITB, I'm Dr. Priyanka Majumdar. I'm presenting today's we'll be discussing briefly about this BIG application criteria, and other requirement for in BIG. So I'm thankful to my ecosystem partners. Today we have with us who has gracefully collaborated with us. We have HTIC IIT Madras, Derby Foundation, MySlab from Bombay, BioRiddle from Mumbai, CIMS Nagpur. We have TBI Congo, ACIC BMU Foundation, and SCT IMST TimeIt. So briefly, I'll give a brief discussion about our ecosystem partners. So HTIC, IIT Madras and BioRiddle, both are BIG associated partner. So along with BIG partner, BIG associated partner also helps in BIG application, helps the grantee to take you through the application process and in this grant. So HTIC is a medtech focused incubator, which is incepted on 2016, and it is supporting 60 startup incubated there. Riddle, which is a biotechnology research innovation incubation design laboratory, is located in Mumbai. BioRiddle is also an associated partner, as I have already mentioned, and it is supported by BIRAC and Maharashtra State Innovation Society and other government agencies. Today we have with us Derby Foundation, which is incepted in 2015 in Dayanand Sagar Institute, Bangalore, and has supported more than 120 startups, predominantly in healthcare. It is supported by DST, MEITI, Bionest, Government of India. Medical Innovation, Creativity and Entrepreneurship, MySlab, is situated in Grant Government Medical College and Sir JJ Group of Hospital, Mumbai. MySlab offers incubation, networking opportunity to industry experts and other shareholders. It has a team of experienced innovators, healthcare professionals, and researchers who provides mentorship and insight from real-world experience. CIIMS, Advanced Research Center, Nagpur, is a DIRS, DST, and NABL accredited laboratory. They have an incubation facility. It's a very large and nice incubation facility, and the work is mainly done in the field of diagnostics, infectious disease, and wastewater epidemiology. Congo TBI, it is established in 2004 as a joint initiative of Congo Engineering College and DST. It is a sector agnostic TBI with major focus in electronics. It has so far supported 140 startups. Currently, 37 startups are under various incubation schemes. ACIC BMU Incubator is an incubator in BML Manjul University in North India. They have already incubated almost more than 50% startups, have a pool of more than 30 mentors and 15 plus investor pools. They not only support incubation, but they also support grassroots innovation and scale-up enterprises also involved in community development opportunities. We also have with us today Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Science and Technology, TIMET, which is a medtech incubator in Trivandrum, Kerala, which is established on 2015. TIMET has supported 33 Nidhi Prayas and 15 Spurs Fellow. It also hosts programs like Prayas, Byrex Spurs, and Nidhi Seed Grant, and also support incubation. With this brief introduction, I'll start today's presentation. So biotechnology, as we all know, biotechnology ignition grant 2024 cycle, the call is currently open and the call will close on 31st of May 2024 at 5:30 p.m. It is an important announcement because the call does not close at midnight. It always closes at 5:30 p.m. Now, through today's session, we will like to hope to bring you a very brief overview of the BIG, its scopes and reach. We'll also have with us three of our successful grantees, Dr. Ravi Prakash, Mr. Aditya, and Mr. Amartya, who will share their experience during BIG tenure and post-BIG tenure. And we'll also have in the end, we'll also have an interactive Q&A session to resolve your queries. I am Priyanka, and I have with us Dr. Pranita, who will be taking the questions regarding BIG. So what we are, SINE IIT Bombay is a technology business incubator and is a society set up in 2004 and one of the first academia-linked incubator in India. We are also a BIRAC Bionest incubator supported by BIRAC, an implementing partner of Biotechnology Ignition Grant. We are one of the 8 implementation partners. In all over India, there are 8 partners. And SINE is also recognized as a center of excellence by DST. We do pre-incubation. Where what is pre-incubation? When someone gets a grant like DST, BIG grant or any other program grants, we provide them a setup, a plug-and-play workplace, and to develop a proof of concept. We also provide physical or virtual incubation. I'll be discussing this incubation shortly. We also provide acceleration where we provide scale-up grant to startups. And we also provide various partnership programs in collaboration with government and other industry collaborators. Now, these are the few funding opportunities of BIRAC. So BIRAC is a Section 8 company and it is an extended arm of DST, and BIRAC support academia to industry collaboration. And for that, there are various grants. As you can see in this slide, the grants are from different stages of product. For initial grants, there are initial grants for ideation stages like SIIP, Srishti, and BIG. BIG is discussion of BIG will be the main focus of today's meeting. And BIG support ideation to prototype development. And there are also other grants for development of proof of concept like AIR and PACE and SPACE CRS. If a academician has an idea of a product and they want to pursue it, they can also apply for these grants. And there are other grants like CBRI, BIPP, which are follow-on funding after BIG, which can be avail. So if you want to discuss more about other grants than BIG, you can reach to us. So what is Biotechnology Ignition Grant? As the name implies, it is an initial grant. So if you have an innovative idea, an idea of a product or a solution, and you want to market this, you want to make a proof of concept of this product, then Biotechnology Ignition Grant is for you. It encourages the startup and researcher to take their innovation closer to the market. It is an 18 months, the grant is given for 18 months, and it is a 50 lakh grant given to the startups and individual innovators. And who can apply for this grant? The entrepreneur from academia and also from industry, medical graduates, because this is a biotechnology grant. So medical graduates, biomedical engineers, PhD, MTech, MSc, and other graduates can apply for this grant. This is a general overview of Biotechnology Ignition Grant. As I have already mentioned, it is the 24th call is now opened. So BIG so far have supported 950 grantees and 480 CR funds is committed, and so far developed through more than 125 products has been developed through BIG, 220 women entrepreneurs, and almost 10,000 mentors are associated with this program. And BIG has more than 500 IPs has been created through this BIG program. The follow-up funding by startups is more than 1,000 CR. Now, I'll briefly discuss about the eligibility criteria of BIG. So, an individual and also a company can apply for this grant. If you are applying as an individual, then the minimum educational qualification is undergraduation in any discipline. But it is necessary that the PI, whoever applying as an individual or as a PI from a company, because when somebody is applying from the in name of company, they has to be represented by a principal investigator or PI. So the educational qualification for individual and PI from the company is minimum is undergraduation, and the person should he or she should have required technical expertise for the same. For an individual, if an individual grantee is working in a private organization, then it is mandatory that if you get this grant, you have to quit the job and work full-time for BIG. And during the time of the application, you have to provide a letter of intention to quit your job. If a person, this is not applicable for people who are working in academia. So faculty members and clinicians or maybe PhD students who are currently working in an organization, they can apply for BIG, and if they get the grant, they can work on both the BIG project and also in their current job, provided their institution has provided a NOC, no objection certificate. This no objection certificate is also should be furnished at the time of application. Another important point for an individual applicant is the applicant should not be shareholder of any biotech company. If the applicant is a shareholder, no matter how small the share percentage is, then the application should come from a company route. So for company, the company can be private limited companies or LLP. The company for BIG 24, there is an age restriction of for BIG application. For 24th call, the company incorporated on or after 15th April 2019 are eligible. The principal investigator must be a shareholder of the company. It can be a very small share, but he or she has to be a shareholder of the company. And the company should not have any stakeholder who has more than 20% share in this applicant company. If should not have any share in an ineligible company. So what do I mean by ineligible company? Any biotech organization which is older than 5 years are ineligible. So if your company has a shareholder who has more than 20% share in your company and also a shareholder in a ineligible company, then that makes the first company ineligible for biotechnology innovation grant application. Sorry, I need to go back. Okay, yes. Sorry. So now I'll be discussing the themes of this BIG call. So this is a biotechnology grant, or anything related to biotechnology are generally accepted. But there are 5 different themes in which you can do application. So one is medtech. Among medtech, the application, the themes are either medical devices or medical diagnostics and drug. There is another theme called agritech, which is secondary agriculture and veterinary sciences. There is a theme, another theme is industrial biotech and environmental tech, which is clean energy, sanitation, waste management. And this BIG also accept application for AI, ML, and IoT and software solution in the field of biotechnology. Suppose you have an innovation where you have a robot for cropping, or you have an automated technology for harvesting, AI, which is IoT linked. So this kind of projects are also being supported in BIG. Major consideration is the technology readiness level of your product. When you are applying for BIG, since it is an ideation to proof of concept generation, so your TRL level should not be more than 4 at the time of application. It is expected that the applications are at the TRL level 2 or 3, and it will reach around 6 or 5, 6, maybe 7 at the end of 18 months. For a detail, I have given this link, which if you can go to BIRAC website, you can check BIRAC's description for each TRL level for each of this theme. So as I've already mentioned, we are one of the 8 BIG partners in India. And what we do, IIT Bombay does as a BIG partner. So we support grant writing, and we helps in writing of BIG grant, and also provide pre-application mentoring. We provide this kind of guidance session and also one-to-one mentoring session to applicants who willing to apply for BIG. We also provide mentoring during technical evaluation. So this is the stage 3 of BIG evolution. One thing I'll be mentioning later, but BIG application process is the call for application opening and declaration of the grantees take around 6 to 8 months, and it is a long and detailed evaluation process. So we also provide mentoring before TP. If your project gets selected to be presented in front of a technical evaluation panel, we provide mentorship before that and make the grantees, make the applicant ready for that session. We also provide mentoring and now when the grantees get the grant, we help them to do due diligence and starting of the BIG project. We also provide mentorship and hand-holding during the BIG tenure. We provide, as a technology business incubator, we provide incubation support. You can also get access to IITB ecosystem, IITB mentors and experts. And we also provide legal IP regulatory supports during the tenure of BIG. And so now you have already learned these buzzwords like BIG partners and incubator. So what, as I have already mentioned, that what does BIG partner do? It helps you throughout the application and evaluation process, do due diligence, help the release of fund. If you apply through SINE and get this grant, your grant money will come to us and we will be releasing the fund in 3 tranches. And because this is a milestone-based fund release, so we'll be releasing the fund at the start of the project, and every 6 months provide with the after review the progress of the project. And the BIG partner also provide the access to the network, also in BIREX network and their incubator. Why incubator is necessary? You can be okay. So this is a mandate in BIG that the grantees has to be associated with an incubator. The incubator should be able, when you are choosing an incubator, you have to take care of the fact that the incubator should provide you the necessary infrastructure for the completion of the project. It provides you with a space to work, access to the infrastructure, as I mentioned, also helps in follow-on funding and handheld during the startup. Now, I'll be discussing, as I already mentioned, this is a 6 to 8 months long evaluation for BIG. And I apologize for that slide because it's not very clearly visible, but I'll discuss it anyway. That the first stage is eligibility. So when the clause closes, the clause will close on 31st of May. After that, if you apply through SINE, during application, you have to choose a BIG partner. So suppose you choose SINE as your BIG partner, then your application will come to us. We will be first doing the eligibility check. In the eligibility check, we'll check for the supporting documents. So what are the supporting documents? First, you have to provide a letter of intent of incubator. So for an individual, it is not necessarily that you have to already be incubated, but you can always talk. But what is necessary that you have talked to an incubator and agreed that if you get the grant, the incubator will provide you necessary support. So the letter of intent is a very important supporting document. Another important supporting document is passport, because for BIG, the PI, or if you are applying as a company, the more than 50% shareholder of the company should be with a Indian passport holder, Indian citizen. So passport is another necessary document. Now you also have to provide the enough content. So I'll take you through the which kind of content are required in application. It is a long application and a number of technical material are to be provided during the type of application, and that is also checked at the time of eligibility. We also do plagiarism check and scheme fit. Now, I mentioned there are 5 different themes, and when you are applying, you have to choose the theme very carefully. Why it is? Because for eligibility, the application, all the BIG application, suppose in 24 cycle, we get around suppose we get 500 application in device. So all the application from across all the partner. So BIREX centralized, what BIREX will do, they will pull up all the device application together and give it to different partners, distributed to different partners for online review. The partner will now choose reviewers from BIREX approved panel. 5 reviewers for each application. and the reviewers will go through the application and give it and mark provide the evaluation. This is the first round of evaluation that will happen in BIG. Now, if you does not choose a correct theme, there is a chance that your application goes to a irrelevant people, and that will hamper your application. So scheme fit is a very important factor which you should be carefully consider, and you can also discuss with your incubator and mentor and BIG partners to decide on the scale. Now, what happens in online review? In online review, one application is assigned to 5 different reviewers, and these reviewers are from BIRAC panel, and from different, the reviewers are a technical person, a scientist, industry expert, IP mentor, regulatory people, and they check the proposal for technical sufficiency, novelty, the commercial potential of this product, the feasibility, whether this project is doable or not, if there is any preliminary data, and also the team members. So the project actually based on the basis of these 5 different criteria, and marks are given. Post that, there is a cutoff marks which is decided after online review, and around 40 to 45 proposals are selected for each theme for the next round. And during this online review, the startups or applicants get a feedback from the reviewer depending on about their application and proposal. Now, the third step is technical evaluation panel. Here all the proposal from us theme, suppose there are 45 proposals in agree. So all the agree proposals are being clubbed, and these proposals all the proposals are being clubbed, and these proposals are, and the applicants present this proposal in front of a technical evaluation committee. The committee comprises around with 7 to 9 experts. Here it is a 20 to 30 minutes of 8-minute presentation, followed by 12-minute Q&A in front of the technical evaluation committee. Post that, this TP meeting, the projects which are found to be satisfactory are presented in front of a BIRAC centralized committee, which is called a ESC meeting, where the theme-wise cutoffs are decided and the final decisions for that call are set. After BIRAC announces the result, the BIG partner do the due diligence. If you apply as an individual, you can incorporate a company at that time and do due diligence, and the project starts. So this I have already discussed. What are the kind of evaluation? Who are the evaluators for BIG proposal? And what are the evaluation parameter? I'll take a minute in this slide. So the number 1 evaluation parameter is unmet need. The proposal, your product or the solution you are proposing, is there an unmet need? It gives 20% weightage. The value proposition, how is your proposition is different from the existing solution in the market? Suppose you are proposing a product, it's a continuous glucose monitoring for diabetes. So how is it different? Then there are many other players in the market. So your device can provide a more accurate data, faster data, maybe it is less invasive, or maybe it is cheaper than the existing solution. All of this comes under value proposition. And this is a very important evaluation parameter. Technical viability. Obviously, this is an innovation grant, and whatever you are proposing should have a technical viability. Sometimes some product looks very good in laboratory, but it may not be feasible to make this product in real life scenario. Suppose so the technical viability is also very, very important. Another very important factor is team strength. So even if you are applying as an individual, you should form a team. At least you should have an idea that what kind of person, what kind of expertise your team member should have to get this to make this project successful. And the another thing is business perspective. Is your product going, how well is your product going to do in market? Have you done any market studies? Do you know if it is a disruptive product, if it is a impose substitution, or if it is a product which is available in the market but in a very higher rate, and your product should looks like a cheaper and good alternative. So all these kind of questions are being asked in the business perspective, and that is another evaluation parameter. So now I'll go briefly in the next few slides. This is just about how to build a strong proposal. So one thing is important is it's a long proposal, and we strongly urge you finish all the section. So one thing is important is concept note. It is a small note of 1 or 2 pages where you are giving the crux of your technology or solution or product. Another thing is novelty note, that how is your product is novel than any existing product in the market. There will be one slide deck where you can find, you can provide as much as data possible in that slide deck. If you have any technical data or IP, we always provide that. Provide if you have any figure or video, any general data, any publication, and the end user mapping, all these data should be provided in the proposal. And another important point which I missed, that is a problem statement. Your proposal should start with a problem statement. What is the problem existing? What is the unmet need? And how your proposal is going to solve that issue, along with a good, very good business potential. So an effective presentation should have a proof of principle, preliminary data, picture, which I already mentioned, differentiator. You have to map out your competitors, how your product different from them, who are your end user, who is it a, if it is a diabetic continuous glucose monitoring, is it a patient, or the clinic, or is a doctor, or it is a B2B, those things you have to really think about right now before writing your application. And the team strength, and also mentor. If you do not have any mentor right now, you can at least talk to some people, ask them to join, ask them to onboard some mentor. When you can always onboard mentors when you get the grant. But before that, in doing the application, you can just talk to them and get them on board. These I have already mentioned, that how to prepare. You have to give an effective title and source of statistics market. You can do a market study. You are preparing all kind of document and take feedback from the market, and provide if you have any preliminary data, any images, videos, if you have published a paper, published a patent, you can provide all those. So this is mostly focused on the proposal summary, novelty, feasibility, your go-to-market strategy, your budget, and TRL, and objective and milestone. Now, here is one important point is the project budgeting. There are few considerations. BIG is one of the innovative grant, and BIG provide around like 50 is the grant value of around 50 lakh, and this is the only one of the highest valued grant in inception grant, I should say, and this provide a provision to take in manpower, but equipment and manpower and outsourcing cannot exceed 30% of the total project cost. So if your project cost around like 50 lakh, equipment, manpower, and outsourcing can be 15 lakh. Consumable is a flexible head. Contingency cannot exceed more than 5% of the project cost. You have to find out incubation charges, because if you get the grant, you have to be incubated in an incubator. You can also get some money and like portion some money for IP, travel, and other heads. Now there is a royalty payment linked to BIG grant, 5%. If you successfully completed your BIG project and your product sees the light of market, then 5% royalty on the net sales of the product developed are to be given back to BIDAC till the grant in aid assistant is disbursed. And the liability to pay royalty will terminate upon the foreclosure or termination of the project as per term of GLA. So as I have already mentioned, there are a few very important documents which are required for application. One is LOI from incubator, which is a very necessary document. If you do not provide this LOI from this document at the time of application, your application deemed unfit in preliminary eligibility check. Passport, company's financial passport of individual or passport of PI. NOC, if you are working in academia, if you are privately employed, your intention of quit, and the financial documents if you are applying in a company rules. These are very financial documents, means AOA, MOA, PAN, Aadhaar card, and all those kind of financial audit report, all those kinds of documents are being checked by BIG partner, and you have to provide these documents at the time of application. So with this, I want to take back to the SINE impact as a BIG partner. We are here from call 15. And today we are talking about BIG call 24. So far we have supported 53 grantees and 53 products. 13 of them has successfully completed BIG, and they are taking their ideas forward. 28 IPs has been filed. We have total of 13 of women founder, and 5 products are being commercialized. The product commercialized are in the field of health tech, IBT, waste management. And so far, 38 CR funds has been raised by the startups, BIG grantees. So this is the general biotech spectrum of SINE IITB. As you can see, almost 40% startups are in the field of healthcare, like medical diagnostics, devices, prosthetic, exoskeleton, treatment care pathway for biomaterial scaffold, implants, and rest of the 60% comprises of food tech, agri-tech, industrial biotech, and clean tech products. So here I'd like to take you with, I'd like to mention some of our startups, like Hestech Analytics. He's a BIG grantee of BIG 17 cycle, and they made a state-of-art genomic technology
Priyanka, may I just intervene here? I think we can cover this later. Maybe we can just invite our grantees, and then we'll take the questions. It's already 4:42.
Yes, sure, Pranita. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
It's okay, Priyanka. While it is there, maybe we can have a Ravi slides and then we can introduce him. Do we have Ravi here?
I have to just let me check if Ravi has joined. Just allow me a minute.
No, I don't see Ravi. Do we have?
This is not Ravi.
Who else we have here? Do we have Aditya? I don't see Aditya as well. Why don't you share the slides back, Aditya? I will take it further, and then meanwhile, Priyanka, just check with these people about joining meeting for a few minutes. Okay, I think what we can do is that meanwhile, while we have these slides, anyone has any question, they can unmute and we can see that other people, the grantees who would like to share their experience, maybe their experience would be helpful to you guys while you apply for this grant. while we get them in the meeting, we can have the question Q&A session. Whoever has the question, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Introduce yourself quickly, and then we can take up the question. But I
Hello.
see a couple of questions in the chat box. I'll just take up those first. Can one or more projects be submitted per startup? Of course, you can submit 2 projects. I mean, we have seen maximum 2 projects. However, any one project who, I mean, comparatively is better scored or something, can be taken up for the TP presentation or finally for funding. So you can submit. However, while you are submitting, if you're choosing 2 different BIG partners for 2 different applications, please remember that everything comes to a central place. So the information gets communicated to each other. So if you're doing that on purpose, that's fine, because you feel that the BIG partner's strength for supporting a particular application as per their strength, that's fine. But please make a point that you should inform your BIG partners that you are submitting to application and they are from different partners. Otherwise, it creates a suspicion around the application, why that has happened and all that, which is not good for particular application. Can a startup submit 2 projects at the same time? I think Arghya, I have just answered that question. The projects would be, I suppose the project would be different. When you say project, I'm talking in terms of products. Now, please don't submit something in healthcare and submit something in IBT. It clearly shows that you do not have a clear focus. If you are working in healthcare segment and if you have a 2 application, please go ahead and submit it, but do not submit application in 2 different themes. It doesn't really give a good impression if you're doing that in the same call. I mean, so far it has not happened that, both the applications got selected, because only one can get selected. Okay, I think we can go ahead with questions. There are 3 hands raised. Vandana, if you would like to go ahead.
Yeah, hi. It was in 2016, I had also applied for the Big Barrack with IKP Hyderabad as incubator. So in spite of crossing all the channels, TRP levels, it was only at the business level where we were not, good enough to justify. So my query this time, I'm making up my mind to submit this proposal. So that time also I approached SINE, but at that time I think SINE was not in.
Yes.
It
It was not a BIG partner.
Yeah, it was not a BIG partner. So my query this time is, so if I write a proposal, I have to send first to SINE IITB for validation, and then we have to.
Vandana,
What would the channel? Yeah.
Vandana, it's not validation. For example, if you feel that your application is complete and you still feel that there is second review is required, that someone from different perspective look at this application and give you some suggestions, we definitely here to help you and support you. That we also have a mentors who actively does that during application stages. So who can take a look at that, who understand the process, been a part of the this TP presentation or review process, so they know what they actually look into the application, so they can help you from that perspective, improve if necessary. So that can definitely be done. We can do it with your or anyone's who would like to apply for BIG with us. We can definitely look at that.
So, example, I'm in academia, so I will need an NOC from my institute. So, so once I make a concept note and all that, so as you mentioned that the funding will come at IITB, if like something like that you were mentioning.
No. So fund directly. So SINE will hold the fund, of course, but it's not. It's entirely because we are an implementation partner. See, understand? It's not feasible for BIRAC to completely handle everything, because BIG is pan-India. There are so many
Yeah.
applicants they support,
yeah.
right? So that's why they have a 8 BIG partner. So SINE will have a fund. Through SINE, the fund will be disbursed to you, but it will directly come to you. And it's SINE. I mean, the funds will not go to IIT Bombay. We are hosted at IIT Bombay. We are IIT Bombay's incubator.
Uh-huh.
We are a separate entity. So funds will be with us, which will be disbursed to you in tranches. So I think Priyanka, I'm not sure if she mentioned, the funds will come in 3 tranches, this 50
Yeah,
lakhs.
yeah,
15, 15, 15, and the last 10% will be the reimbursement once you successfully, grantees successfully complete the project. So that will happen through us, definitely.
So we just have to like if we like we want to show to you, so we can send our concept note to you for further guidance and clarity. But in
Sure.
actually we will have that NOC, and we will have that LOI. LOI we can arrange from IKP Hyderabad, right? So we have that LOI,
Yes.
we have the NOC, we show it to you, and then we submit the proposal online. That's all the procedure is.
Yes, yes. So, for example, if you're an academician, as Priyanka already mentioned, NOC is utmost important. I think the one point
Yeah.
which we could not touch upon is the IP, because when academician apply for the BIG grant, IP is of utmost important because it is shared with the academia. Because you are a part of academia, you are using their
Yes.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, there should be, when you are getting this NOC from your organization, there should be a couple of lines regarding IP mentioned in that. So, clear indication where IP will be belong, because BIRAC wants your BIG IP to belong with you. That is why the incubator thing, that is why the LOI. Why LOI is required is that letter of intent is important with application, which shows that tomorrow if you get this funding, you will incubate with this incubator. This gives you this empowers you to withhold your own IP, because incubator cannot claim IP. But with academia, when you are working in your own lab, using your instruments procured at the organization level, you have to share IP. So while you get the NOC, please have a clarity on IP. And I request all the people in the meeting to get the clarity on the IP. It will belong to whom? Because it's very important. Once you develop something with this, and if you're not able to commercialize or get it transferred to your own startup, because towards the end of 18 months, there has to be a startup. If the IP cannot be transferred to that startup towards the end or later on, the commercialization will be difficult. Okay. So that is very important that you have that clarity with your organization right now.
So like our university doesn't have any incubator. So having an incubator at a far off place like IKP Hyderabad, it is not, I mean, what incubator actually does it
So
will provide some
Vandana, where are you located at this moment?
I am at Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Central University, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh.
So we will help you find out some incubator around you. There are many now. There are many Bionist incubators. So it need not to be IKP only. We can help you find other incubators as well. Okay. So I think Vandana, there are other people as well.
Yes,
Maybe
please
we
go.
can, if you have any questions, you can just connect with us later. I think Anubhav, you
Thank
have a
you.
question. Thanks, Vandana, for
Hi,
joining. Yes,
can you hear me okay?
yes, Anubhav, yes.
So there is a timeline of 18 months for the 50 lakh grant. Now, what happens, let's say somebody puts in 12-month or 6-month lesser timeline, and then they require a change of timeline for some reason. Is that easier, or you want to be ambitious in setting up the milestone and giving a buffer of 18 months? So some guidance on that would be really helpful.
Sure. Anubhav, that's a great question. I think I would like to be very realistic while writing such grants. You never know, what will hit you. We have seen the pandemic, right? Nobody knew when
Right.
people were applying in previous cycle that will happen, and people could not even start their projects for a year or so. So instead
Got
of
it.
being ambitious, I would like to be realistic, that there is a 18 months timeline available for me. I would like to take up that entire thing. However, if I
Okay.
am, I'm really good at what I'm doing, and then able to achieve my milestone, even a shorter duration, nobody is going to stop you. If you come back tomorrow, say that after 4 months, my first milestone is achieved, We would
Got
be
it.
happy to arrange the progress review and give you another tranche if you have successfully completed your first. If you successfully complete instead of 18 months, 12 months, nobody is going to object. But if you say 12 months and you don't finish, the extensions are really difficult to come by in biotechnology. There are no extension per se. Then
Okay.
incubators and BIRAC has to discuss, and there are meetings, these are very lengthy process. So just take up 18 months, but complete your project as early as you can.
Okay. The other question is there might be situations where by the time it is finishing on 31st May or 30th May, by the time we get the money in the account, if somebody wins, would be after 6 to 7 or 8 months. So the milestones that we plan, they are like 9th month onwards, or how do we think about that part?
Again, great question, Anubhav. What basically we can do is that maybe somewhere we can, you're right, maybe 6 months is the time during which the results get announced. Another couple of months to freeze the due diligence and the agreement, and then you get the money in your account. So basically, I would prefer to keep it this milestone, 6 or 8 months, when I would like to start my project. However, if let's say there has to be a step 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And if you go to the BIRAC BIG committee and says that I'm at this stage, and then after 6 months, let's say you assume that you may get some fund and I may complete this work, and your milestones start at, let's say, step 5. So 2 to 4, you would like to cover with some other grant. But tomorrow, when you go to BIG and say that I'm at stage 1 and my milestones start at stage 5, it doesn't really look realistic, right, to them. So what I'll have to do is that you'll have to present like this, that these are the steps from 2 to 8. These are my steps. Okay. And I would preferably like to do my all 2 to 4 or 2 to 6 steps in BIG. However, by the time if funding is by the time funding comes to my account or the startup's account, I may have to start from this. However, nobody pays so much attention that what will happen later on. What you have to say is that I'm at stage 1. I would like to do 2 to 6 now. Let's say tomorrow after 6 months, you come to BIG partner and say that I got this fund, so I completed 2 to 4. I would like to revise my milestone from 5 to 8. That's okay. That is why you have to give them a big picture that my milestones are from step 2 to step 8 or step 9. I would be partially completing that from a BIG project. So you are safe here, because you can then switch between steps, because you have completed something within the 6 months or 8 months period, whatever, with some other grant or some other.
Got it. Sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Abhinav. I think before taking up other question,
This
yes.
is Ajit.
Okay, Ajit. I think we'll take up your question, and then we'll go to the Aditya. We have a grantee from a previous cycle who can share his experience. But Ajit, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Dr. Punita. Thank you for the fantastic explanations on the various queries. So my query is, as per government report, we are importing batteries, lithium-ion batteries, 100% in India. And we are working in the energy domain of batteries and medical devices and various, there are so many equipments requires batteries to power up, to perform well. So, this is directly not related to biotechnology as such, but can we apply under the theme of energy, wherein we can provide solution for batteries so that the devices, medical devices, becomes efficient and performing well? Is it a correct problem statement for this grant?
I would prefer that. However, maybe committee may decide otherwise. I'll tell you a story because I have been a witness to that. There was a applicant from BIG 15 cycle. The application was really fantastic. The way you said, batteries are really important and integral part of everything now, and they have to be supported. So I think all committees supported them. It went to the last stage where the committee, the TEP committee, they found the application really good. But it was not a good fit for the scheme because there is no bio component, because it's all electrochemical. There is nothing bio. Though the application could be in a device which could be bio, but they could not relate it to that, and they got rejected in the last level. So from that, experience, I would say you may apply, but don't keep any hopes. that this could be, it may get rejected at any step, and it may get through as well, because yeah, for last previous cycle, I think we have one cooking robot which got selected, because in the food tech segment, there is no bio component, but there is still touch with the food, or that's how it got selected. But
Understood.
please be open that it may get rejected because of the poor fit skill.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yeah, I think we'll take up another question. Please stay here. I think we have Aditya here. I can see him. And Aditya is our grantee from BIG 18 cycle. Please correct me, Aditya, if I'm wrong. And Aditya is working on a very fantastic project from bio waste to packaging material, and biodegradable packaging material, which is the need of the hour. Because we are all aware that there are single-use plastic and so much pollution happening. So he's working on very fantastic solution. He's been associated with IIT Madras. Now he completed his product development, and he is also piloting with many companies for various different projects and very interesting projects. Aditya, welcome. We welcome you for this BIG awareness session. And Aditya, we would like you to share your experience with the people who would like to apply for this call, right from the application till you close this BIG project. How was your journey? What are the things where you feel that the more attention is required during the application process, during a preparation for the presentation to the TEP committee, where you got selected, with this panel, post BIG during 18 months? And how do you feel that once you have this BIG, what is the response from the ecosystem when you approach people and say that you are a BIRAC BIG grantee and you have completed your product with this? What are the responses you get? So I would like you to shed the light. At the same time, while working with SINE as a BIG partner, how was your experience? If you could also briefly touch upon that. Over to you, Aditya.
Hi all, very good evening. Hope you can hear me. Yeah.
Yes,
So
Aditya.
sure. So good to go. We are currently developing a material that is an alternative to styrofoam or thermocol. So it looks like this, whitish color thing. So it is made up of only two ingredients: mushroom cells called mycelium and agricultural waste. So this is made into the block that is possible. Currently, we are piloting with a couple of automotive companies where we are replacing their clutch packaging. Then we are making mycelium based wall. So this wall is like your normal construction wall, how you are making a wall. So we are trying to make a wall to demonstrate how strong this material is. So 1 kg of this material, if it is given a particular shape, it took 70 kgs person when a person stood on it like a stool. So it took 70 kgs of weight. So that is the demonstration capabilities we are doing. And we are partnering with various brands. So this is what we do. And how we started is a pretty interesting thing. So straight out of my college, even from my college, I started writing the BIG application. So this was like very starting. So each time I used to get rejected. I don't know why I am getting rejected. I was getting rejected because I was coming from an academic perspective. So this is where in 2019 I was attending all 2018-19 I was attending all the BIG awareness sessions and these kind of things, and I came to know the perspective how an entrepreneur thinks. So then I took little bit of time in understanding what big is. So in my from that point of view, it's not completely academic. So a academician has to have a major entrepreneurial capabilities. So if you are an entrepreneur, you should have the tech understanding. So it is the amalgamation of both which helps you get this big successful. So either of two, either completely business oriented or completely this academic oriented won't lead you to a successful application. So after learning this, so I redrafted my applications. In my fifth application, I got selected with SINE IIT Bombay. In my fourth application also, I got selected with IIT Bombay. But in the TEP round, I didn't make it. So why it didn't happen was that the people in the TEP panel, so they did a really good evaluation. So you get 360 degrees questions from industry partners. So they come with very good perspective and they ask you a lot of questions that for the first time you think, oh, this might be this might also be the question. So from that, I got trained that and in my big 18. So from my previous experiences, I learned. And this time in the TEP, I have the confidence that I will make it through because I was ready, and I foresaw what they can ask. Right. So this happened and we got it. So in my application, I used quite a bit of storytelling. I presented the panel so with a utmost clarity. So for example, I literally what I said is, look, I want to develop this material, and to develop this, XYZ is my milestone, and this will be the budget for this. So I'm at a zero position right now. So with this 50 lakhs of funding, I can achieve um, so some 0 + 5 or 6, a very better position. And this all will be the writing. So, but they also will look at a little thing that, is this candidate worthy? Can he do it? So that kind of a confidence also you have to present all throughout, and that is very, very important. So even if you, what can I say, even if you are the most capable person, if you say, I might doubt this might happen, or if you project overconfidence that, I am the only one this happen. So there might be, the chances might be going down. So if you present, if you can make the panel understand, look, this guy is worthy of doing it, so your chances of getting a good closure will be, that's like a what can I say,
Aditya,
the cherry on the cake. Yeah.
Aditya, sorry to interject. Since you have actually talking about this, how was your competitive landscape was important because you are working in the area where many people are working, right?
Yeah.
Packaging and then approaching market or GTM strategies. Was
Yeah.
that also a part which you had to looked into and prepare well for this?
That's a very good point. Yes, we need to do it. GTM strategy is very important. It's not about just developing a tech or a product. So how you launch, how you differentiate in the market, how you develop your business plan. For example, if there are your competitors, how better you will be with this tech and the whole execution process. So that needs to be very much put forward while you're writing the business application. The overall clarity in the business you need to bring. And other important thing is I particularly chose SINE. Um, so there are many reasons for choosing SINE. So one of the main reasons for me to choose SINE is, they are from so when I failed my fourth application with SINE, so the feedback I got from the SINE and also the support I got from the SINE, so was really good. So that's one of the reason I thought like, look, SINE has initially provided me support when I didn't get through, and they helped me understanding a lot of things. So I then reapplied with SINE, and when I got selected from then, whenever I need any kind of a help. So SINE was always there. Um, so Pranita ma'am was guiding me whenever. So she's like a phone call away. That goodness is always there when I got selected, and the connects they provided. Uh, so whatever the clients which I want to get connected, if they are in their network, they always suggest like this is one you can look after and these kind of things. So the team is overall one of the best team I can say. I don't have experience with other incubators, but other BIG partners I can say. But this was great. This is
Thanks,
what.
Aditya. I think, yeah, Thank you so much. I think Aditya, please be here. I think a couple of questions we may need you, but we have meanwhile Amartya and Dr. Ravi as well with us. Amartya, can you hear me?
Sorry, Pranita, Amartya just messaged me. He has to step out for a minute, so we can have Ravi and
Okay. Meanwhile, we'll speak to so Dr. Ravi,
Ravi.
if you could, are you available? Okay, great.
Yeah. Good
So Dr. Ravi, thanks for joining in. But I think, Dr. Ravi, if you could help us to understand your whole journey, because you have been a Sparsh fellow, so you have been associated with BIRAC even before BIG. So you have been a Sparsh fellow, then you got the BIG. You completed your BIG while you were pursuing PhD at NDRI. So many so many experiences you have being an academician, taking a help of government funding associated with us, then incubation partner, and then now you move into academia again. And then this particular technology, you have also piloted that technology as well. So if you could share the entire experience working with BIRAC as a funding agency, which helped you to develop this product and get to a level where it can be further commercialized. And your experience working with BIRAC us and the entire process, if you could, and any tips during application, post application, presentation, BIG progress. I think people don't talk about much about the journey of completing BIG project. It's not important. It's not only in sufficient that you get the BIG grant, but it is equally important that you successfully complete it as well, because there would be a foreclosures if you don't do it, and that doesn't look good. So how to do that, and how this journey has been for you, if you could shed some light on that. Dr. Ravi, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, madam, for calling me. So, very good afternoon to everybody present here. And basically, I worked here on the screen. You can see.
Ravi, could you be little louder? I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, hopefully, I am audible.
Yes, you are audible. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So, this technology, whatever I have worked, that is very basic. During my MTech work, we thought of this providing milk chilling solution from the point of production. And we started exploring how to do that. And initial funding I received from BIRAC, the BIRAC STI award. Now we call it as SIPARE grant. So in that, the single unit that you can see here, milk pail and charge single slot, so that we developed. So it is very important that whatever the preliminary study we have done, if we can improve the results in the big application, that will be very helpful. So it helped me a lot during PEP and subsequent evaluations. The evaluators were very much convinced about the concept. So if you have just science, then just establish science, then they will not be very sure whether it can be translated into the working prototype. So preliminary study prior to like your evaluation or something, if you have some data, please include in your application or in your presentation also. Moreover, during preparing my big application, now also I remember that I had so many things to tell before the committee. But there was a mentor from SINE. His name, I think his name was Partha. So he mentored very well. I remember. He said, I will make you to speak in only 8 minutes. I was surprised that time limit. How can I complete everything? There are so many things to tell. But very precisely and very clearly he guided that what exactly you have to tell. Such that in one sentence, one word, we can explain what actually I mean to say. Whether it is problem statement or it is value proposition or your business plan, who are the stakeholders, who are the end users, you have to be very, very clear. For example, in my product, initially we thought that the farmers are the buyer. But later on, while collecting feedback from the end users like farmers, we involve them. So I will suggest that while developing your product, please do involve the stakeholders also. And most important stakeholder is the end user. Please find out who is going to pay for your technology, pay for your product, and whether he can pay, what is the demand, what is the market size. So initially they thought that milk producer, milk farmer will buy our this advanced pair. But later on we realized that farmers are reluctant. But at the same time, there is a need of quality milk by the milk companies. Then we started discussing with them that whether are you interested? Then they said, yes, we are interested. We are already investing on cold chain infrastructure. So why we cannot invest on your technology? It will bring us good quality raw material. So like that, we have to identify the appropriate stakeholder as well. Then there were many supports from SINE apart from preparing for application process during due diligence also, and they had meeting with Power Institute for resolving many other issues. IT, as Dr. Pranita earlier I was hearing, she told that we have to be very, very clear that IT belongs to whom and how it will be transferred to the startup company. So it is very, very important in the beginning itself. We should make it clear such that we don't face difficulty at the later stage. Because initially nobody will tell anything, and later on once the technology has been developed, then it comes that it belongs to us. Then another thing is we should also know the TRL level in this big project, but what TRL level it will be supported, and what should be what we should achieve during this milestone. So generally POC up to TRL 3, TRL 4 is supported, I think, in this big grant. Field trial, I think they don't support. So accordingly, we should prepare our application, and accordingly we should present also in front of the technical evaluation committee. Then always we should collect feedback from the users and try to modify our prototype accordingly such that it will be translated. Then finally coming to the closure, then fund utilization is also very, very important. Initially, better always keep your different heads, better to take quotations and keep all the heads appropriately budgeted and discuss with your other mentors and those who are experienced in the project, such that we don't face difficulties. At least in my case, we appropriated in such a way that at least budgeting we never faced any problem, and we could use money sufficiently. In fact, we could complete the project in less money only. And at the last, I would like to say that business plan is also very, very important. How we are going to take to market, and what will be the payback period, what is the cost. Those things are also so those sort of questions should be always asked in your evaluation, even up to the end and centralized review also. So these are some of the points in short I wanted to tell. If you have any specific other questions, then definitely we can discuss. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ravi. I think you have touched upon many very, very important points, a few very important points. I think to start with, you said that, we should have a good understanding of the market, right? Where we are going to actually sell the products, who are the market players, how we are going to reach there, a good business plan. And it is very, very important that you should be able to cover all this information in that 8 minutes. I remember your sessions with Partha. So, these mentors will help you to understand the importance of those 8 minutes. I think you have heard those related to this dialogue in various movies, but these 8 minutes are really important because this gives you an opportunity to discuss, present your proposal, and later discuss with the committee. This is the only time you will be able to convince committee that this is something this solution or technology would be able to fill this gap. Okay, so it is really important. Whatever information you have, you should be able to present that within 8 minutes. So the information, and whoever is not able to do that, committee always feels that people doesn't have a clarity. 8 minutes, it's too much. There are elevator pitch of 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes. 8 minutes are still enough time to present the work and the touch upon these important points about business, team, being a technology, value proposition, and all that. So that's very important. And the IP, I think Ravi, who can understand more than you, that this clarity is really important. So please get that clarity. Because without this, the commercialization becomes really difficult, for which you are going to the BIG grant. So please get that clarity. And of course, preparing budget is very important. This all is happening for the money, the budget, the funds, right? So we should not, you should not just focus on the technical part. You should also focus on the budget, because committee may also feel that, see, the proposal is really good, but the team doesn't know how to utilize the money. Then in that case, money will not be given to you. So you should also able to understand where you are going to spend the money, where you should be spending the money, what you should be achieving. The TRL level, very important point. So BIG allows only project reaching to TRL 4. It may allow till TRL 5 if you are starting somewhere at TRL 2. I mean, nobody's going to stop you from, middle of something. But project who are already reached at TRL 4 will not be considered for BIG nowadays. So TRL is very important. While you're filling the application, please get this clarity from your BIG partner, because they can help you with this. These are very, very important point, Ravi. Thank you so much for bringing those here on this platform. I think we have, if Amartya is back, we can talk to Amartya, or we can go back to the
Yes.
slide.
Yes, Pranita Amartya is here.
Great,
Yes.
great. Amartya, I think you probably, I mean, there are two fellow BIG grantees here. From BIG 17 and BIG 18 call. Amartya basically is, is founder of a startup, co-founder of a startup, Create Labs. And the BIG project which they got is about the exoskeleton in the healthcare segment. They were already in the market with their other product, just going to the market with their earlier product, breathable, washable splints. So they had some idea about the market, and they did that kind of a research while they were presenting exoskeleton. But Amartya, my question to you is basically, exoskeleton is something not really, it's not really that novel, right? There are many people who are working on exoskeleton, upper limb, lower limb. So what helped you to understand this is something you should be doing, because you are already doing splints, right? And then exoskeleton, in this you should do the upper limb exoskeleton, and this is what you should be doing. And what all study, the research you have done behind that, just to prepare your application and then present it to committee and convince them that this you should be, because it's a hardware heavy, capital heavy product. I will not say completely yours, because I have seen other exoskeleton, a full body exoskeleton. They're really, really expensive. So how did you do that, prepare your application, and your market experience, how did it help? And if you could also shed some light about, go-to-market strategies, kaise plan kiya ja sakta hai, because you have that experience. So people over here who probably would like to do some research around that and submit and prepare for their application. So if you could talk about that, Amartya, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Those are actually really good questions. We also keep asking ourselves these questions even today as we try to figure out what we're doing and why we're doing it. Sorry, just give me 1 second, just figuring out my screen. Right. So before we started with the exoskeleton, so I've actually worn it on my hand. This is what it looks like, one part of it. We had these custom upper limb splints which we made, which we were selling in orthopedic clinics and plastic surgery centers and so on. As we were working on hand splinting, the requirement, we worked with a lot of paralysis cases, so stroke cases, brachial plexus, spinal cord injury. A lot of these people need splinting done, but a lot of these guys were already in the mobility aspect of the recovery, right? They were going for continuous physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and that's when we noticed that the therapists were asking, the doctors were asking, and the patients themselves were asking, can you make me a device which I can take home and which can perform the exercises for me? And then we did an extensive market research, more than just academic or literature surveys. We did an extensive market research because, Pranita ma'am, as you pointed out, this is a crowded market space. There are lots of people working on rehab tech, right? But what we realized, one of the core aspects was everybody was working on desktop rehab technology, which meant that you had all these larger devices being placed in therapy centers and then patients being put onto those devices during their therapy sessions, but nothing really that the patient could take home, could use, and could in a way assist them from just passive mobility to active mobility. That's how we undertook this problem statement. We even went through, there's a database where you can see all the past BIRAC grantees. So we went through the entire database and we tried to find, is there somebody who's done something similar? Of course, there are similar projects, but what is that value proposition that we can offer? And which is not only a good exercise to figure out, like, what can I do to get this grant, but also to figure out what can I do different and how can I build on something that somebody else has already done? Why have they failed? It's also a good opportunity to reach out to certain startups, because one thing is that founders are always happy to talk about not only their successes but also their failures, because you can always help somebody else. So try to figure out what were their shortcomings and how can I build on this. So that's how the exoskeleton was an organic thought and an organic product that came out of selling our first product, that is the splints. And then as we started figuring this market space out a little more, then we were able to apply for the BIRAC grant. Interestingly, though, we got our BIRAC BIG grant in our third attempt. And third attempt for the grant and first attempt when we were applying for an exoskeleton. The first two attempts we were applying for like this 3D printed cast concept, which nobody really took that seriously. So yeah, so that's, sorry, just give me 1 second. Yeah, so yeah, so that's how we started working on the exoskeleton. That's how we did our initial validation of why this might be a good concept. And I think the other aspect, Pranita ma'am, that you asked was building a GTM strategy for this device. So one other thing we've learned, so we're still, we're first gen entrepreneurs. There's a lot we're learning on the go. We started building the exoskeleton with a particular go-to-market strategy that is, sell it to rehabilitation centers, sell it to patients directly, and so on. But as we have been selling the splints, we have actually started using our exoskeleton as a talking point for the future, where we are now letting a go-to-market strategy build organically around this. But when we were applying for the grant, we had to have some semblance of a sensible idea, because the thing is, when you start off a project, 90% of that project is going to change as you proceed with it. So your responsibility as somebody who's applying for a grant is to at least have a sensible project, a sensible analysis of what your go-to-market strategy would be, because the people in the TEP rounds and all who'll be analyzing this have gone through multiple different proposals and ideas, so they can call out nonsense whenever they see it. So what we did was we actually spoke to about 50 to 60 odd therapists who we were working with at that time, and just pitched this idea to them. And we said, okay, now how would you like to buy this product, or how would you like to interact? How would you like to make money? What makes more sense for you? As we started talking to them, we started building out some GTM, and then we also had some testimonials to back it up if it was ever asked or required. So that's how we went about that process. Was there any other
Yes.
question?
I think Amrit, you have touched upon many points. But very, very important to note here that everyone, that all these grantees are talking about one point over and over again, that they haven't received the grant in the first call. Of course, there are few lucky, applicants. I would say them lucky because they're getting the grants in the first attempt. Okay, there are people like that. Because the first time getting everything right may not be possible or may not be feasible for everyone. Because here, these are not a MCQ type of a question, right? Out of 50, 30s are, or 40 questions are right or wrong. It's not like that. It's the product, it's the market. Sometimes product is good, but market is not ready. Post-COVID, the market has been ready for many products, right? So that product now looks good to the committee because now the market is ready or the market requires this. So it depends on many, many things. So don't get disappointed if you have not previously got the grant, but get the feedback, whatever feedback you have received. The way I think Amartya Amartya and Satyam, they did is that the feedback they received from their splint, they felt that this may not be a product which will make a cut at BIG. So they found out the gap and they apply for another product and definitely receive the grant. They have successfully completed the project. So you'll have to probably find out that gap. If you are not successful with this project and the feedback has been like this, that the project, this particular product doesn't seem like the need of the market, in that situation, you may have to find the gaps. It may also happen that BIG committee may feel something else and you may receive the grant for this particular product from somewhere else. It may happen that way. Please don't complain because most of the people do say that. But then it basically depends on the committee's discretion based on their experience in the market and all that, and the BIRAC mandate and the guidelines. They are taking decision based on that. So if you would like to apply second time or third time, it doesn't matter if there isn't a feedback like you should not come back to BIG because this is not going to be accepted here. Till that time, it's an improvement and you apply. And then probably your BIG partner can help you in the process to understand this. So thank you, Amartya, for your feedback, and hope the kind of experience you guys all of you have shared will help the applicant here. And I think there were few questions in the chat box. We have already answered them, but if anyone has any question, there was repeatedly one question about somebody's academician in the private job. If they are applying for BIG, could they get the receive the BIG? Will they be able to get the salaries? So please note that the salaries can be drawn only from one end. So if you are an academician, clinician, you will get the salaries from your respective organization. You will not be able to draw anything from the BIG manpower head. This head is available for someone who the academic people would like to hire or employ during this process. However, other people who are not withdrawing any salary, they can take up salary up to 50K. Any person will be able to take up salary up to 50K. Mentors, advisor will not be able to take the salary from the BIG manpower head or anywhere else. Outsource will allow consultant, but there has to be a proper invoice. All these are important points. I think if you would like to apply, please do get in touch with us. I think Deepali, I know that you have been, your hand is raised for quite a long time. Please go ahead with your question, Deepali.
Yeah, thank you, Prameera ma'am. Matter of fact, I have applied for SINE IIT before the big, this particular BIRAC opened up. So I am waiting for the incubation feedback to happen. But then I just wanted one question regarding this grant writing. That for academicians, you have clearly mentioned what has to be done. But for the private people who are willing to quit and full-fledgedly join the startup that they have created. Is there any terms for those kind of situations where co-founders are not full-timers?
Okay, Dipali, thank you for the question. I think Priyanka mentioned that point. Whoever is in the private employment, they need not to immediately quit the job till they receive the final confirmation. But they can give us an undertaking that if given the grant, they will be quitting their job and completely focusing on this for at least 18 months. Okay, so the duration of BIG they would be here. So that's the commitment which is required. And if they do that, if they quit their job, there is a manpower head, as I said. So up to 50K, they can withdraw from here for their self-sustenance. So that can be done. That is why that manpower head. Along with you, you can even employ few other people. But the entire cap for this manpower head is 30% of your, branch, so entire fund. So if it is a 50 lakh, it would be maximum 15 lakh. So you'll have to decide. I think if you take 50 per month, it would be somewhere 9 lakh. So only founders taking 9 lakh, then you will have a very 6 lakh around, which you will be able to spare on other people hiring. So that math you have to do it, but maximum anyone from this can take 50K per month. Dipali.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure, and we'll get back to you on your incubation, application. We are struggling with something, but we'll do that.
No problem.
Yeah, so I think we have Mr. Khan.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
The
please.
thing is, so if one individual through, say, a startup A has applied for BIG and he was the principal applicant there, and the startup secured the BIG grant. And now if the same individual applies to some other startup wherein he's actively a participant, so can again he be the applicant for the BIG grant, or they cannot apply?
Just clarify one thing. When that particular startup got the funding and the person who is moving from one startup to another, was that person a stakeholder in the company, applicant of the BIG through that startup?
So the applicant, the person who was applicant of the startup, was the stakeholder there. So
Okay,
if he is similarly, if he having another startup, then he is applying for a BIG grant, then is it possible, or the
No.
BIG grant has to be
So
completely applied from some other individual?
So it is not possible. For example, BIG grant is once in lifetime kind of a thing. So if you are a part of a startup and you are a stakeholder there, so you are already a beneficiary of that. If you move to another startup and that startup basically apply, but you are not the primary applicant. Because you are a stakeholder in the company, that even company becomes ineligible because they have already one of the stakeholder previously received BIG grant being a part of some other startup. So none of the startup founders should also be received BIG grant if they are applying. I think I've just read some question. If somebody write that, I'm not sure if I got the question right correctly, is that I think our startup is more than 5 years. Can we incorporate another startup and apply through that? No. So that is why this particular rule, they have formulated this particular guideline that if otherwise people will keep creating new companies, right? Because my company is ineligible now to get the funding. The whole point is that if you have a startup and you are a shareholder in the company, more than 20%, you should not be having another startup which is ineligible, and it doesn't matter how much shares you are holding in another ineligible companies, which is older than 5 years from the call of basically opening of this BIG call. So you'll have to follow that, and the BIG is once in lifetime, so you will not be apply even through different startup.
But being an external person, we can be a guiding mentor to that startup.
You could be, but then it is like an advisor, not a team.
Yes, advisor,
Okay?
scientific advisor.
Anything. So advisor could be, that could be done. But in that case, you are not a part of a founding or a core team member.
Yes, understood. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, sure. I think Nirupama, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. First of all, it was very enlightening session. I could get more information. I have two questions. One is, suppose if I have a publication in the area which I'm working in, and I do not have a specific idea about it. I'm thinking of applying for a grant. How do I, go about it?
Okay, interesting. So Nirupama, if you you have at least identified an area because you have a publication.
Yes.
So your technology to certain extent is you have done some work at lab level. So let's say a TRL 1 or 2 kind of a thing.
Right.
And you know what tech or solution you are doing. Now, what form of products it can take? Either it is an algorithm, either it is a hardware product, or
Let it be a wearable device, medical wearable device. Yeah.
great. So wearable medical device. Now, if you want to have this medical wearable device, if I start thinking about how many there are, you do some market survey, how many wearable device we have for different things, diabetes, tracking your different habits or tracking your different needs through this. There are many, right? So you'll have to then probably start with that and come to a point where you strike it off key. This has been already there. This is enough. But if it is there, for example, diabetes, there is enough population to cater by many people, but people keep hearing that, everyone is trying to work in diabetes. Now, how different you could be, okay, working in this using a wearable device. That's something you'll have to establish. Now, we will need more information if we have to help you to understand what is that area where, you can apply or something. For that, it would need a separate discussion. But I think from a broader area, startup always start with a niche and then they, expand. So from your publication, you'll have to, start writing down what are these things where you would be able to, translate your tech and then have an application. And the market is also good. Sometimes when we say a niche, we don't mean that a market is small. Market is big. You are starting with a small size of it, then you expand. So market should be also big. That is why I just picked up a diabetes. But there could be there are autoimmune diseases. There are other things. Probably there are epilepsy cases or something. I mean anything which can be captured through wearable device. There are many diseases, right? So
My question
maybe
was, sorry to interrupt you. The question is, suppose if I'm making a wearable device, which is already existing in the market, let's say it is very expensive. What if I'm making an affordable wearable device? Will that be innovative? I know it doesn't have much innovation to it, but still it is a product which is affordable for everyone. So should I go about it and, for the grant?
so I think Nirupama, I mean, it's not a question whether you should be going for it or not. You could. However, I think there could be a questions. See, we have a watch, wearable, let's say watches, right? We have a
Right.
watch which will, I think Anant Ambani wear, I think 18 crores something I read somewhere, right? And I probably am wearing around 1,500 rupees, around. Everybody wears watches, right? And everybody has a different client for that. Okay. So if I'm making a watch for a particular, sort of a client of, with socioeconomic status, right? Then my market size would be different. How that, I mean, that doesn't account for innovation. You are making it just affordable, right? But then again, your market size is different. When you come to a market where there is a huge chunk of people affordability, but there is a lot of competition as well. When you go to a top where the market size is very niche or small, but the product is premium and so you have you for every segment you have a client. You'll have to differentiate how you are going to be how you are going to be adding value to that particular segment and client base with your product, which is already not there. Because there could be watches even what you are saying that affordable, there could be something even available at price lesser than that, right? So that will not set up a right context, just say that cost, because price is never a differentiating factor coming to such grants where technology also an important part.
So
So
I should
we'll
look into
yeah,
the
something.
market size and the product and innovation. One last
Yeah.
question, ma'am. Thank you for your time. You, in one of the slide, Shruti ma'am was mentioning that you are going to support us legally also? Like what type of support you will be extending?
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. So we have a lot of consultants, right, and empaneled these firms with us at SINE. What do we do is that we connect startups or innovators to them. Now, these legal, when you want to incorporate a startup or you have some compliances, you want to provide UCSs when you have such grants, these people will help you. Of course, you'll have to pay, and for that you have such grant. So BIG grant from contingency head or outsourcing head, you would be able to pay these people. When you go to them with our reference, you get heavy discounts. That's how this will help you. So currently we don't have any retainers, legal help retainers, but we have our empaneled members, and we have people with different buckets. They could be really expensive, they could be affordable as well, based on that their offerings as well. We would be able to help you to understand with whom people should be working if they have a particular
प्रियंका वो
requirement.
फाइलें दे दी इनको क्या?
I think Vandana, if you could mute yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, can I ask one more question? So regarding the market size, I was wondering, so if the market size is not there right now, because if the product is like with the advent of so many things going on in ISRO from last year, is there any market size for the emerging rocket based companies or the space based companies? If we know, if we want to innovate something like, for example, if it is something like terraforming of the Mars and we are planning to do something regarding that, so will it work for big?
Wonderful. However, I don't see any relation with BIG, but there is a good market, upcoming market for this. I know you will not be, yes, you will not be able to map it correctly. However, I think with the help with the expansion of current players in the market, you may able to gauge the requirement for future requirement for few years. Basically, for example, people are talking about I think space transportation and people moving from Earth to space, or maybe other explorations and as well, right? Many, and there are many private players coming up, right? So if you could able to gauge the their scale up, where in any forums they have said that they would like to scale up from this to this with this requirement, how much your product could be necessary for them or something. If you could do that, that is fine.
Yeah, so actually there is one company, space-based company, who has approached me for collaborating, writing because I'm in academia and that is a company, space-based company, emerging in India only. So they want like we work together. So I was just wondering regarding the market size, because like if we are doing something and if the question comes, what is the market size and all that? So will that
But
work?
however, Vandana, I feel that that will not be, you will not be able to submit that proposal to BIG because space and all that such projects doesn't get approved here because it doesn't have any bio, because as I said, it's a bio related projects, right?
No, it's bio-related only because it would be testing something in microgravity level, because ultimately like people are, there are many projects like for the technical level, but ultimately if you want to terraform Mars or some planet which may have a future prospect, it is the first level is to create oxygen there. So it is regarding the creating oxygen dome, something like that, through some the plants or the something we have in our lab. So it is a
Maybe
based.
yeah, Vandana, I think we'll take it up offline because I think it's interesting, but we would like to know more about it.
Okay.
Okay. So I think if you could, I think Priyanka has already put in our details
Email
how you
ID.
can. Yeah, please do get in touch with us. I'll request everyone here, please do get in touch with us with your questions. And
Thank you.
let's see how this association can goes. I think that's it from my end. I'll hand over. If there are no questions, we can stop here. I hand over this session to Priyanka. Priyanka, over to you.
Yes, Pranita. Thank you for this, and thank you, Aditya, Dr. Ravi, and Amartya to join us, and also all the participant for making it nice session. So do write to us if you have any query. Write to us in sine_big@sine.iitb.org to discuss your application. Thank you very much.
Madam?
And this,
Yeah, ma'am.
yes,
Yeah, so
yes, yes,
we
Deepali.
also have got that LOI link along with this, the first registration. So that would be the first step for it.
Yes,
And
yes.
then
So what you have to do, you have to fill that Google form, and we'll be generating an LOI for that. Post that, you'll get an LOI form.
okay, so I will write with the email stating our interest into for this thing along with the LOI Google form, right? Both.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Yeah, have a nice evening. Bye.